POV. Your phone gets snatched on your trip to London, but you're petty AF.
My iPhone was stolen in London. A few days later, I discovered that it had ended up in China, so we booked a flight and headed there. Using location tracking, we arrived in Huaqiangbei, Shenzhen. We found the building 10 floors tall and had to search it floor by floor. There were many stalls selling phones. Eventually, we found a blue iPhone 13 Pro Max that looked just like mine, but the vendor refused to let us check the device. In the end, I bought the phone, and when I turned it on, I was shocked. It really was my phone.
A few days ago, my phone was snatched in the UK. Look, my hand is still injured, and I've got wounds on my face. I nearly lost my life. Can you guess where my phone ended up? Take a look. Shenzhen's Huaqiangbei. Unbelievable. In just a few days, before I even returned home, my phone had already made it back to China. How could there not be a full supply chain behind this? Today, I'm going to expose what's really going on. Behind this black market, in the UK, you can find mobile repair shops on nearly every street corner. But in reality, many of them are hubs for selling stolen phones. A friend of mine who works in logistics told me that every day, different companies from Hong Kong contact him to ship phones. More than 10,000 units a month. They claim the phones are being sent to Hong Kong for repairs. But if these aren't stolen phones, then what are they? Once they arrive in Hong Kong, the phones are quickly sent to Huaqiangbei in Shenzhen, where technicians have the skills to take them apart and refurbish them. Look at my stolen phone. Every day, someone tries to activate it. If I'm not careful and I accidentally press agree, the phone will unlock instantly. They don't even need to refurbish it anymore. They can just sell it right away as a used phone.
A TikToker user who runs a used phone business tracked down and recovered a stolen iPhone using location services in Huaqiangbei, Shenzhen.
There's a lot of profit in this business. Believe it or not, if I had come any later, this phone would have already been taken apart for parts. Let me break it down for you. The screen alone is worth at least 1,900 yuan. The back casing assembly goes for around 300 to 400 yuan. One camera module is about 240 yuan.
Industry insiders say that after a phone is stolen, there are usually two outcomes. If the phone doesn't have a password, it will typically be powered off, the SIM card removed, reset to factory settings, and then sold to phone resellers. If the phone is locked and can't be cracked, it's usually sent to Huaqiangbei for disassembly. The parts are either sold individually or reassembled into a new device and put back on the market. It's no exaggeration to say that the final destination for stolen phones around the world is Huaqiangbei. A Chinese TikTok user commented that they had no idea what kind of backing Huaqiangbei has. Gangs from all over the world seem to supply them with stolen phones. According to the New York Post, Maureen Blake from North Carolina revealed that her phone was stolen while she was out at a bar with friends. Using Apple's Find My feature to track it, she was shocked to see the phone travel from Miami to Hong Kong and eventually stop in Shenzhen. But the ordeal didn't end there. After switching to a new phone, she received a threatening text message warning that if she didn't click a link to disable the remote lock on the stolen device, her personal information would be sold on the black market. The Financial Times also reported a similar case. British tech entrepreneur Sam Emrani was robbed by motorcycle thieves in London's Kensington area. Within just a few days, his brand new iPhone 15 Pro showed up in Kowloon, Hong Kong, and eventually made its way to Huaqiangbei in Shenzhen. After sharing his experience on LinkedIn, Mr. Emrani unexpectedly struck a chord with many others who had gone through similar situations. Numerous victims of phones theft in the UK and US revealed that they had received suspicious text messages from Shenzhen asking them to unlock their phones or disable the Find My iPhone feature. In some cases, the messages even contained threatening languages. On May 21st, the Financial Times published an in-depth investigative report revealing a supply chain for second-hand electronics that moved from the West through Hong Kong and ultimately into mainland China and other countries. Many iPhones stolen in the US and UK are eventually shipped to Shenzhen for resale, forming a massive and lucrative underground industry. London's Metropolitan Police stated that phone theft has become a criminal industry worth up to £50 million, around 63.5 million US dollars each year. Authorities in France and the US have also reported a rise in similar crimes. The investigation revealed that in Huaqiangbei, Shenzhen's well-known electronic hub, there is a building called Fei Young Times Mansion. Its third and fourth floors are known for selling second-hand phones from Europe and the US, many of which were reported stolen. This building has become a global black market center for stolen iPhones. On Apple user forums, social media platforms among theft victims, it has been dubbed China's stolen iPhone building. Compared to iPhones sold within China, overseas models can access more international app stores. Some US versions are also tied to specific carrier networks, making them especially popular among second-hand wholesalers. The report included on-site photos and explained that inside the building, tightly packed vendors' stalls display a wide range of second-hand iPhones in glass cases. A vendor, Mr. Wang, admitted that some of the phones had been lost or stolen in Western countries. He also revealed that even locked phones have a market in the area. A vendor, Mr. Lee, explained that they categorize phones based on whether they are with ID or without ID, referring to whether the device has been remotely locked through the Find My app. He said these phones with ID aren't in high demand elsewhere, but there's a market for them in Shenzhen. This is a massive industry. Some people pointed out that stolen iPhones around the world often end up in Huaqiangbei, Shenzhen. Victims have even received text messages threatening to sell their personal information on the black market. This suggests that the CCP is deeply intertwined with international criminal networks and that its cybercrime operations now pose a serious threat to people around the world. On May 23rd, South Korea's National Cybersecurity Center, NCSC, together with antivirus software developer Anlab, released a report stating that a hacker group believed to be linked to China. It was reported that the hacker group has maintained long-term control over more than 2,000 computer systems worldwide. In South Korea alone, 457 servers were reportedly compromised, while Taiwan had 44 affected servers. Yonhap News Agency cited the report and identified a group called TA Shadow Cricket, an advanced persistent threat APT, which has been conducting cyber attacks since 2012. Unlike typical methods involving ransom demands or data leaks, this group maintains prolonged access to targeted systems. They attempt to break in using random password inputs and embedded backdoor malware within normal programs, allowing remote access and control without raising suspicion from users. The NSCS and Unlab confirmed that TA Shadow Cricket has taken control over 2,000 computer systems worldwide, including critical operational systems. This group is prepared to launch cyber attacks such as distributed denial of service, DDoS attacks when necessary. The report details the distribution of compromised servers by location, with China leading at 895 servers, followed by South Korea with 457, India with 98, Vietnam with 94, Taiwan with 44, Germany with 38, Indonesia with 37, Thailand with 31, and the US with 25 servers. The report recommends that users update their Windows operating system to the latest version to prevent damage. It also advises checking whether settings that allow external access are enabled, using more complex passwords, and implementing multi-factor authentication. On July 9, 2024, the Australian government directly accused a hacker group supported by China's Ministry of State Secretary for launching large-scale cyber attacks against both government and private sectors in Australia. Australia successfully rallied key allies including the US, the UK, Germany, Japan, and South Korea to jointly counter these attacks. This marks a significant escalation in the international community's resistance to China's cyber operations. Reports indicate that this marks the first time Japan and South Korea have joined the Five Eyes alliance in accusing the CCP of cyber attacks. While Australia has previously collaborated with international partners to attribute cyber attacks to China's Ministry of State Security, this is the first time Australia has taken the lead and directly blamed hacker activities supported by the CCP. The announcement states that hacker groups funded by Chinese authorities have targeted multiple countries, including Australia and the US. The techniques used by these groups are widely adopted by other China-backed organizations. These similar tactics now pose a significant threat to the cybersecurity of many nations, including Australia's allies. The announcement condemns these threats as malicious cyber operations orchestrated by China's Ministry of State Security. It notes a significant overlap in attack methods with hackers groups like APT40, which are believed to operate under the direction of China's national security authorities in Hainan province. Beyond colluding with local criminal gangs and conducting cyber attacks and espionage worldwide, the CCP has also been using ordinary citizens to carry out large-scale infiltration and spying activities. In early May, Turkey's intelligence agency announced the arrest of 7 Chinese nationals suspected of engaging in espionage activities, drawing widespread attention. Local media reported that the suspects were found carrying IMSI catchers, devices that mimic fake cell towers to collect data from nearby mobile phones, including call records, conversations, and other information. Their main targets were Uyghur individuals who fled to Turkey as well as local officials. Officials stated that this is the most sophisticated espionage network discovered to date. Unlike typical professional spy organizations, this group did not hire agents. Instead, they used ordinary people to conceal their identities and employed advanced surveillance technologies to target their subjects. Intelligence agencies revealed that some members of the group entered Turkey in March. Their leader, identified by the initial ZL, arrived in Turkey 5 years ago to conduct groundwork and preparations, including setting up shell companies for logistics and import-export operations, as well as learning the Turkish language. IMSI catchers mimic legitimate cell tower signals. When a target phone comes within about 50 meters of these active ghost base stations, it automatically connects to the device, mistakenly recognizing it as a normal cell tower. According to reports, the intercepted communication data, including call details and location coordinates, are directly transmitted to contacts inside China. The suspects refer to this contact as their boss. These devices were smuggled into Turkey in separate shipments and then assembled locally. One person carried antennas, another transported batteries on different flights, while other members brought in remaining components in batches. Intelligence reports indicate that the group also targeted Turkish government officials, attempting to identify which official had connections with Uyghur individuals or groups, as well as gathering other sensitive information. Authorities believe that the leader, identified as ZL, received specialized espionage training, but other members appear to be different. For example, a Chinese national with the initials ZYB, who only completed elementary education, was responsible for driving and placing the IMSI catchers near targets. His tasks were limited to simple operations like turning the device on and off. All 7 suspects deny being part of a criminal network and claim they do not know each other, but investigators have evidence showing that they regularly met and maintained communication. Turkey is home to a large population of Uyghur people who have fled overseas from China. Human rights organizations accuse the CCP of carrying out a genocide against the Uyghurs, with hundreds of thousands reportedly detained in so-called re-education camps in Xinjiang. Recently, Chinese espionage activities have also drawn attention in North America. Executive Director of the Center for Immigration Studies, Mark Krikorian, recently warned in an interview with Fox News Digital that illegal crossings from Canada into the US are on the rise. He said that the CCP is using these known smuggling routes to secretly send agents into the US and that Vancouver's Chinese community may be playing a key role in this activity. It would be logical if they're trying to come across the northern borders instead, he said. And there are lots of Chinese people in Vancouver. I mean, there's this very large Chinese population, Hong Kong population, etc. Krikorian said that Chinese population in Vancouver is not so much, quote, teeming with spies, as it is a tool that serves as cover for potential Chinese bad actors looking to cross into the US. He said whether they're regular criminals or whether they're People's Liberation Army operatives or who knows what, a Chinese community gives them a medium through which to move where they're not alien. They use the people as a sea through which they swim. Data from the US Customs and Border Protection shows that as of the 2025 fiscal year, over 4,000 Chinese nationals have been arrested while attempting to enter the US through the northern border. Krikorian also pointed out that many of these illegal immigrants enter Canada through legal channels such as student or tourist visas, using that as an opportunity to get close to the US-Canada border. They use the Chinese community as a stepping stone to enter Canada and then wait for the chance to cross illegally into the US. He said a lot of them must be hiring smugglers just because if you don't know the ropes, how do you know where to go and who to talk to and what part of the border to sneak across? It's harder than it looks. Krikorian said, I think the main thing is just people coming for dishwashing jobs like regular illegal aliens, but if there is a flow like that, the People's Liberation Army is not stupid. They're going to salt it with people they're going to want to use in the future, whether it's saboteurs or spies or what have you. He emphasized, does anybody think the Chinese Communist Party is stupid enough not to have taken advantage of this opportunity Biden gave them? No. Beyond personal infiltration, the CCP's surveillance and infiltration of social media has become increasingly blatant. Recent media reports reveal that China is using AI to monitor 70 million Telegram accounts worldwide, automatically detecting mainland Chinese users who bypass internet restrictions and even analyzing public sentiment. According to Hong Kong's South China Morning Post, the 12th China International Police Equipment Expo, which concluded on May 17th, showcased numerous surveillance devices related to artificial intelligence technology. Exhibitors included the CCP's Ministry of Public Security Research Institute and several private companies. At the expo, the third research institute of the Chinese Ministry of Public Security showcased a tool capable of monitoring Telegram. The tool reportedly has collected over 30 billion messages, monitored 70 million Telegram accounts, and tracked 390,000 public channels and groups. Promotional videos from the institute demonstrated how the tool logs into Telegram using compromised Chinese phone numbers to monitor group chats. The institute also displayed software called Personal Extreme Behavior Multidimensional Intelligence Analysis. According to the institute, with the frequent occurrence of, quote, personal extreme events, China faces security challenges in early warning efforts. They have developed AI models that analyze shopping records, search histories, and social media posts to identify high-risk individuals. Major technology companies such as Huawei, iFlyTech, and Hikvision also promoted their AI models at the expo, claiming their applications are suitable for law enforcement scenarios. A tech company from Nanjing showcased a tool capable of automatically detecting VPN use to bypass internet restrictions. Analysts note that Telegram, in cooperation with Tencent to enter the Chinese market, has been fully infiltrated by the CCP. The CCP uses all available technological means to monitor the population, putting every Telegram user worldwide at risk. Gordon Chang, senior fellow at the Gatestone Institute, stated that China is arguably the most heavily surveilled country in the world. No other nation knows the every move of its citizen as thoroughly as China does. For example, China's Skynet system includes more than 700 million surveillance cameras, roughly one camera for every 2 residents. These devices are being integrated into a centralized control system known as the Nationwide Social Credit System, designed to monitor every individual within China. Additionally, the authorities have effectively turned 970 million smartphones in China into surveillance devices. Government-installed cameras are also present on taxis and other vehicles. The CCP's planning in this area is comprehensive, making China rapidly evolve into a totalitarian state with full-scale surveillance. With such control over the country, the CCP cannot claim ignorance of what is happening. Therefore, if large-scale organized criminal gangs continue to operate within China, the CCP must be aware of and approve their activities. This means the CCP must bear responsibility for the tens of thousands of deaths caused by fentanyl in the US each year. Fentanyl is one of dozens of opioid drugs designed and manufactured in Chinese laboratories by organized crime groups. The surveillance-heavy CCP government not only has detailed knowledge of drug trafficking activities, but also tactically permits and even supports them. China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has repeatedly claimed that there is no so-called illegal fentanyl smuggling issue between China and Mexico. The CCP is not only the main backer of global drug trafficking networks, but also through China's state-owned banking system and criminal organizations control much of the world's money laundering operations. A source revealed that Chinese currency brokers serving Latin American drug cartels employ the most complex money laundering techniques in history, quickly overtaking rivals to dominate the industry. In China, there is not only nearly every stolen iPhone worldwide, but also the largest human trafficking black market, where reportedly every body part has a fixed price. All of this exists because the current ruling CCP in China is the world's largest and most dangerous transnational criminal organization, the root of all these evils.